The author of Jojo's manga, Araki, deeply values the identity and depth of his evil characters, providing extensive backgrounds for them, such as the enemy in the Part 7, who was a character playing the role of the President of the United States. These enemies may even succeed in defeating the main heroes, as the priest Pucci did in Part 6. As we enter the 9th part, with events unfolding, a question automatically arises: who will be the next villain, and what form of evil will we witness in this part? Of course, in order to understand what Araki will do, understanding his manga style is crucial. In the preceding parts of Jojo, Araki introduced various forms of evil. The first part depicted a person trapped in poverty and familial issues, primarily due to his alcoholic father, a despicable character who bit the hand that fed him and treated him kindly to be the main enemy of the Joestar family and one of the very central characters in the story. The second part, we learned about a pragmatic character belonging to ancient history who was revived, a person searching for immortality and covering his weak point, which was the sun, by possessing the red stone of Aja. The third part marked Dio's return to confront Jotaro, a Joestar family descendant. Then the fourth part, the author introduced a new kind of evil in his story, Kira, the silent criminal, an ordinary educated person and a respectable worker, but he has strange whims and tries to live as he is, away from the noise of the world. Moving to the fifth part, we see how Araki wanted to enter the world of Italian mafia gangs, and the villain was Diavolo, a mafia leader whose existence no one knows about, and whoever searches for information about him is killed. For the sixth part, Araki entered into the religious aspect. The enemy was a religious priest trying to apply his vision and religious understanding to the world for the good of humanity according to his vision. And the seventh part, this time, the writer gave us the President of the United States literally as an enemy and evil character. The eighth part presented a new type of evil, a new race introduced by the writer in the story, which is the race of rock human. This race has a high level of intelligence, and they steal the identity of ordinary people in order to live their ordinary life. The main villain was from this race and was the leader of the Lokakaka organization. Their goal was to hijack the export field of the Lokakaka plant, which has a miraculous medicinal use. This plant has a supernatural ability called the equivalent exchange, whereby it gives you something in exchange for something else. We do not want to delve into it too deeply as it is not the topic of this video. But for example, it is used in the medical field. A person who has lost his arm will regain them with this plant, but there must be a price, and it may be another limb of his body. So Araki presented evil through all sectors of society in his previous parts. A statesman, a cleric, a gangster, an ordinary working man, an ancient race. In the ninth part, the narrative unfolds around gangs, or maybe people who rule behind closed rooms. The central character is a person who sells drugs. And in contrast to the fifth part, in which the events took place in Italy with Italian gangs. Here are the events in America, and the American gangs, which, as we know, are also greatly influenced by the Italian immigrants who established the principles and values of the mafia in the United States. Of course, here everyone will say that I see you, Araki, you are in a way to repeat the fifth part. No, but the events in this part are much deeper. There is a potential for evil emanating from authority figures, such as rulers. In the initial chapters, we witness the corruption of the American police and financial misconduct, including money laundering led by the principal of the Jojo school, who oversees the gang associated with the main character. The narrative suggests a fusion of power and the mafia, hinting that the apex figure may hold a significant international position immune to legal or judicial repercussions. As for justice in the world, Araki will discuss it a lot from Jojo perspective. Whoever makes the main character in a manga sell drugs and work with gangs must explain the goals and intentions of his character and why he takes this path. As the chapters unfold in the ninth part, we will discover something important, which is one of the supernatural abilities that distinguishes one of Lava Rock that the small Jojo gang encountered and are trying to discover its secret. This is what brings us back to the atmosphere of the eighth part, as there is a substance, and it was a plant, and it has a certain ability. Then organizations and enemies appear to us. They target it and try to do trade and build an economic project around these things. Now we come to an important point, which is the temporal context. Araki made the chronological context of this part so advanced that the events belong to the era in which we live, which may indicate that the topics and events that Araki will address in this part will belong to our era, maybe subjects like political corruption, media propaganda, and clandestine manipulation of global power. My expectations for the villain of this arc will be a combination of Diavolo, the Mafia head, Funny Valentine, the United States President, and Toru, the Lokakaka organization leader. We will see maybe an antagonist who hides in front of laws and justice and implements his programs, plans, and economic programs to seize control of the world and establish his own system. It's important to note that predicting Araki's narrative choices is challenging due to his unique presentation style. Still, this opinion is based on his approach in previous parts and the current developments in Part 9, along with the temporal context he has established. Araki pays meticulous attention to the temporal context, selecting it with purpose. In conclusion, the title of this part is Jojolands. What are your thoughts? What significance does this title hold, and what structure revolves around it? The writer wouldn't choose a title contradictory to the manga's events. We're interested in your opinions. Thank you for watching.